Elvis Presley once said, "Rhythm is something you either have or don't have, but when you have it all over." Best known for his pelvic gyrations and provocative stage presence, Elvis Presley embodied rhythm all over. I started researching Elvis Presley when I was a junior in high school, when I made a state-qualifying documentary on the legacy of Elvis Presley for Texas State History Fair. We've all heard at least one or two Elvis songs, but when we look into the road that he took to stardom, we can truly appreciate the innovations that are in his music. Elvis left a lasting mark on the music industry. And today, we will look into his childhood, his career, and his legacy to see why Elvis was truly recognized as the king of rock and roll. But for every great king, they were once paupers. In this case, Elvis Presley began this tale in Tupelo, Mississippi. According to the Elvis.com biography written in 2011, Elvis's childhood began on January 8, 1935, when he was born to his parents, Vernon Elvis and Gladys Love Presley. He went to many different schools as a child, and Peter Guralnick, the author of Last Train to Memphis, written in 1994, recalls one of September 1946 that Elvis entered a new school in Milam for the 6th grade. At this school, he brought his guitar to school every day, and the kids made fun of him and called him a trashy hillbilly. In November of 1948, Elvis and his mother moved to Memphis, where he attended Humes High School. There, he received a C in music class because the teacher didn't like the kind of music he played. Elvis had many different musical inspirations throughout his childhood. On October 3, 1945, Elvis gave his first performance dressed as a cowboy for the Mississippi-Alabama Fair. He was only 10 years old. The next influence for Elvis was Mississippi Slim, the host of the Tupelo radio station WELO. Elvis never received formal musical training and learned to read music by ear. Now that we've looked into Elvis's childhood, let's take a look into his career. Elvis's career, according to Mark Kemp from the Rolling Stone magazine article of 2001, started at Sun Records. There, Elvis recorded a two-sided disc. He chose this company in hopes of being discovered. Sam Phillips' collaboration with Presley at Sun Records has become a pillar in the mythology of rock music, according to Glenn Jeansum from a History Today article written in 2007. Elvis played publicly with Sun Records for the first time on July 17th at the Bon Air Club, still playing his child-sized guitar. The next step in his career was at RCA, when on November 21st, 1955, Presley signed with RCA for $40,000. Then he released his self-titled album debut on March 23rd. This was his most distinctive album. Near the end of his career, according to Friedman Fogvis, the author of Meet Elvis Presley, written in 1977, he had many different hits. One was Heartbreak Hotel, others were Don't Be Cruel and Hound Dog. After some time, he even began to branch out and began starring in movies. One of Presley's most notable performances was on The Ed Sullivan Show. It was this show and this performance that made Elvis a true national celebrity. His last performance was on January 6, 1957, and this was shot just above his waist because his pelvic gyrations were seen as too provocative for family television. This energetic career is what propelled Elvis to be a legacy. Elvis's legacy, according to Peter Schmuck, the author of Creativity and Innovation in the Music Industry, written in 2010, left three major changes in the music industry. First, he made the guitar, rather than the piano, the lead instrument. Second, he reshaped R&B, unlike many white artists of that time. Other white artists would water down the R&B. And third, he mixed country with soul, with a host of new dance moves. Elvis truly left a legacy. Rolling Stone magazine claims that Elvis was rock and roll's first real star, not to mention one of the most important cultural forces in history, a hip-shaking symbol of liberation and the stained America of 1950s. He's undisputedly the king. This was written in 2010. A Grammy Museum executive director, Bob Santelli, recalled to USA Today in December 2009 that Elvis's story is the great American story, a rise from poverty, being the architect of rock and roll. Now that we've looked into Elvis's childhood, his career, and his legacy, we can truly see the road that he took to stardom. With the on and off stage style Elvis presented, rock and roll became king. But for many, Elvis was truly the king.